Yo, this is Corey.
What's up, it's Jahi.
And this is Jordan, and you're now
Tapped in to Fatherhood Forward. Before we dive into today's episode, we want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors of this video, Platinum Party Planners.
you already know they one of the best sponsors around. They specialize in birthdays, weddings, baby showers, corporate events, and they even do treats.
And they hit.
That's a fact. So y'all see this beautiful furniture that we have on set today.
Facts.
It's courtesy of Platinum Party Planners. So shout out to the ladies over there.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to the Platinum Party Planners. You already know they're going to make your event shine every time.
Bling. Blow. Let's get it.
What is up, everybody?
Yurt.
I was gonna say I'm missing the yurt from Jordan. What's going on? We are here for another installment of what we now call Dad Stories, and we are here with another great father, supporter of the podcast, DJ, super father. Yo, I messed up the clip from the walk too, man. When he was carrying the joint, of course my audio was messed up, but bro was toting. bro was toting a wagon with 3 girls in it, man. Three good sized second, third graders, man.
And he came through with
great
the
father.
with the music too.
Yes, sir. DaRon, with no further ado, what's up, DaRon?
What's going on, good brothers? What's happening?
Yeah.
Again, thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for including me. You know,
we appreciate you coming on for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most definitely. And again, thank you for continuing to support us, man. The walk was cool. We had a good time, and we want to start doing more things like that to build our community out. And we gonna make it happen.
For sure.
That's a fact. So how we doing today, man? Let's check in. Let's get that weather report rolling. I tap in since I got the floor. I would say right today for me, mentally, it's like a 70-degree day, but it's just like cloudy and gloomy, like similar to what it is right now. 70 degrees because, like, although I feel good, it doesn't look that great around me right now. With everybody in my house being sick, including myself. I'm probably the least sick out of everybody in my house. But we all did just get our antibiotic today, got prescribed for that. So I'm optimistic for the week. And I'm hoping that this is the last bit of sickness that we got to experience for a while because I'm tired of this. It's kicking my tail.
Go ahead, DaRon. You can check in.
Corey, I actually agree with you, man. Right now, it's cloudy. The rain just stopped. It's like chilling like 70, 73 outside. And I feel like that's a pretty solid representation of where I'm at with it today. You know, and I say that because, like, at least to my knowledge, all of the heavy rain is behind us at this point, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel like that's how I feel. You know, I kind of get into these spaces, right, where I kind of front load all of my responsibilities that I have in my mind, right? And now I'm at the point now where, all right, cool, it's Sunday. I just wrapped up an event, you know, yesterday that I was, you know, preparing for, you know, a couple events leading into that I finished and completed. So now I'm kind of like, all right, cool. This is like, you know, it's about to be sunshine and my daughter's about to come back with me. So I'm excited about that. It's about to be the summertime. Nice. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just ready for that, you know, that seasonal transition into the sunny weather, which in actual, you know, weather time, I'm pretty sure we're preparing for. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I wish I feel that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We live in climate-wise, we live in an interesting place. But anyway, I'm pretty good, man. I'm probably creeping up on like 79, 80. I'm just like I'm staring down the barrel of this vacation I'm going on at the end of the month, dog. Like I never wanted to rush time so much. But just speaking in today, this week, like everything has been pretty well, man. I got up, like I got inspired to like want to cook today. Well, not cook. When I cook, I grill. I'm like I ain't really cooking like. But yeah, I made like some jerk turkey, like some smoked jerk turkey legs. Them Jones came out pretty fire. So I'm good, man. Anytime I feel inspired to cook, I feel like it's a good time. Cause I mean, my wife is an adequate cook, very good cook. So, shout out to wifey for the sweet potato cornbread today, though.
Wow.
Definitely sounds like a good meal.
Yeah, good John, good John. So no complaints, man. I'm glad to be here with y'all, of course.
For sure.
Go ahead, Corey.
I mean, we can now we all checked in. We can kind of just kick things off. With you, DaRon, you're the highlight of the show today. So kind of just take us back to where your fatherhood journey began. Whether you want to start, once you became a father, or like how you, were raised if you had your father, and if not, how that maybe affected you. Just kind of give us your story on that.
Okay. All right. Solid. Well, I'm pretty sure, you guys have known me for some years now, right? Even before I had my daughter. And I feel like my fatherhood journey began at a young age, being kind of raised by my dad, being around his brothers, my uncles, just kind of getting game from them, just getting knowledge and just kind of like adopting their mannerisms, right? And and in adopting those mannerisms, by the time that I came in to your guys' life and we met, I already kind of had that demeanor that I kind of adapted from my uncles and my dad and all his friends. So that's why I have had the nickname Pops for so long. Y'all know me as like Pops, for so long
Word.
because I've always kind of kept that demeanor, that kind of like chill, no nonsense, respectful, responsible demeanor, to all my peers and stuff. So I kind of adopted that, kind of name and, that kind of, reputation as being, yeah, he's our age, but we may be able to go to this brother for some advice if we need it, or,
Thanks.
one of those type of situations. So I just think that, in growing up, initially I thought that, this was enough for me. Like, I was cool with just being like, everybody pop, everybody uncle in a sense, when I started getting a little bit older and I wasn't really, kind of like expecting actual fatherhood. But, all in all, when I was blessed to be able to become a dad, I feel like all of these like lessons that I'm finding out were lessons and things that I was learning all while growing up. They just kind of like helped keep me grounded, when actually becoming a father and navigating that journey.
Yeah, that's understandable, man. It's crazy how as a kid growing up, we don't really realize the people around us that's going to influence us like for life. But like now, especially like I think about it so much because now all three of us are in that same position where we're influencing our kids behind us, and we don't even know like how it's going to have them turn out. But we still got to be conscious because we understand that of what we're doing on a day-to-day basis of what we're showing them. Man, that stuff is like all of our movements are powerful when you put it like that. Like whether you intending to do it or not, like we got to move with purpose, man.
Yeah. Sure. Not only that, but like even of course we are our children's greatest influence, but like who we have our kids around too.
Yeah.
Like he said, like DaRon said, people would come to him for things. So like if we curate it or to our best ability, because we can't save our children from everything, but like if we curated spaces that have great people around them, like both of y'all, you know what I'm saying, like how that could help like the community. That will reinstill that community, raising the children, like that village. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's another part of it too. So obviously we're working on that kind of stuff here. So hopefully it can transpire into that.
For sure.
And that'll change generations, man.
Facts. It's crazy because I just seen a clip on Instagram of a mom talking about her mom, like. The original mom that was making the clip, like she was like our age. She was saying like she was a 90s baby. But she was saying like how back in the day, like her mom had such an influence on her and her friends to where like she could talk, like she would have her friends come over, but then like her mom would be like basically a mom to them. And it says where like something going on, her mom sitting all of them down, you know what I mean, talking to them. And trying to teach them, like, all right, how to maneuver, giving advice. Like, it kind of just, like, inspired me to, like, hone that in later down the line, because obviously I'm not there yet with my oldest only being 4, but like if we could play a role like that in our kids in their friends' lives, you know what I mean, the impact then goes further, and it helps. Like, you don't want to like create your kids' friends, but you do want to have a sense of like who they around, like
who they are.
Because we their biggest influences, but at a certain age, that dynamic's kind of going to change, because they're going to be listening to their friends going to be influencing them. Our influence becomes a little bit smaller because other people start to come in. But if we got our hands on the other people positively, you know what I mean, we can kind of get a sense of that control back. Like,
no, that's a fact. That's a fact. We might be like one of the last generations to actually be like that, because I know like, long story less long, when I wanted to get my first tattoo was at a tattoo party, and I knew not to call my mom. I was 14. I knew not to call my mom, so I called my boy's mom because I knew she was going to say yeah. But, like, we was really like that. Like, I called her my mom and stuff. So it's like, and it, you know, other situations too, like if she needed to talk to me, or, you know, they celebrate you, you know, stuff, all that kinds of stuff. But I don't really see that. Like, when my sister was growing up, I didn't see her friends having relationships. Like she had those, you know what I mean? But like close like that, you're not calling nobody mom. Like,
right?
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, mom, can I get a tat?
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
So yeah, less about me. DaRon,
What's up, brother?
I know we spoke about it, but we spoke about it before. We all COVID dads, right? All of us got COVID babies.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year was your daughter born?
She was born December 4, 2020.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's pretty much in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if my math was mathing month wise, that March, February ish area, when it, like, as soon as it shut down, like
when it hit,
yeah,
when it hit,
that was around that time.
Yes, when it hit, because I never forget. I was coming back off vacation. San Antonio, and I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to make it back to Delaware. You know, but luckily I made it back to Delaware. A week later, everything like shut down.
So at the time of the shutdown, did you since she was born in December, if my math is mathing, you didn't know at that time when it shut down?
No.
Okay.
Well, no. Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point did you find out? Because this.
Yeah.
At that
when
point,
did you find out?
The shutdown happened. That's already a life-changing thing for everybody because we all
right.
adjusting. Then you get hit
then
with
you
the
find
news.
out.
Don't know what's about to happen.
I didn't think about that.
And then, like, by April, I'm getting the news. I think like April, I'm getting the news, and we already, because at the time, my daughter's mom, I had her. She was staying with me. You know what I'm saying? Because her situation wasn't the safest by, I guess, whatever the national health safety, whatever was going on. I was just like, okay, it's safer for you to, you know, kind of like be here with me. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how long this is going to last. You don't know how long this is going to last. You know, so, you know, let's just work it out. And then, you know, in that, we were pretty much in for months. And then in that, finding out that, you know, she was pregnant, and then, you know, dealing with all of that followed, because, you know, nobody was expecting to have a child, you know, and with the current situation the world was going through, like, these were terrible, like, these were terrifying times. So there was a lot of emotions, a lot of, you know, self-searching, things figured out, you know, support systems leaned on, you know, during that time. But, you know, ultimately, you know, my daughter's mom and I, we made it through. You know, baby came, she came a little early, but she was still healthy, you know, and right now she is just doing her thing. My mini me.
That's what's up, man.
Nice. Did y'all have I could assume y'all didn't have a baby shower.
You know what's crazy? We had a virtual baby shower on Zoom. Yes, we had a
How
virtual.
did that work?
Man, listen, and I tell you, shout out to the good people over at Delaware Futures. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Because they were able to, my manager at the time, she knew that, we were all home, but she still made work possible, for us so
Mhm.
that we can continue to take care of, our families and stuff while we were sitting. So in that, she, supported, she sent a couple things, gave me some ideas, and we ended up doing like a invite only Zoom type of situation. I set a camera laptop up in the living room. My
Mhm.
daughter's mom was there, decorations were sent to us, to put up
That's
and,
what's up.
different packages, and we opened them up live. So it was a cool little situation, for kind of like a alternative, like a pivot situation.
Right.
But
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
think I think COVID really made us all have to be creative in everything that we had to do because like you said, life changed. Everything was uncertain. Um, like you said, you having a Zoom baby shower. I remember I seen people doing because at the time I had a I was learning that I was gonna be a dad
hmm
in the midst of COVID, but I seen people having like drive by baby showers.
yep,
I didn't see any of the Zoom thing. That's interesting to know, like that people was doing that, but it gave another option. And then,
yeah,
because I remember people would send the gifts like to our house because some people wasn't going to come out to the baby shower. So yeah, it's crazy how we all had to adapt. But it's some good things that definitely did come out of COVID too, though. Even like stuff like store pickup, like they bring it to your car and stuff, like even like restaurants and stuff like that. So
yeah.
as crazy as those times was, we did get a little bit of benefit from it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I still feel like the um the masks that came from that.
Yeah,
I feel like now it's not, people don't wear the masks like they used to now. But at least like now, if you
yeah,
see somebody wearing a mask, automatically they're not feeling good. Something's going on.
facts.
Like it's a clear indicator that okay, something's up. I'm gonna just keep
Yeah,
my distance, hit you with a from afar. Take care now. Hope you get all that
facts.
together
It's
and keep
crazy
it
though, cause
pushing.
the before COVID and stuff, I feel like not even to be like racist or anything, but the Asians was on the mask
They
before
were on
COVID
it.
happened. Like I
Oh
used to
yeah.
see, yeah, they if they wasn't feeling good, they was wearing the mask, and people would look at them crazy, but they was on it. They trying to stop spreading germs. So
Stop
I
spreading
think
the
we could have.
germs.
I mean, as a society, we probably could have adapted that sooner.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we learned from COVID, I think we should have adapted sooner, like in-store pickup, curbside pickup, all that stuff. People working from home.
Working from
So
home,
yeah,
certain type of jobs.
all
Yep.
that facts. But I know. So you learned about having a kid during COVID. So that
hmm
means that you delivered, like you said, that in December. That's in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So like, how was the experience in the hospital? Because I know mine was a little different, just from what they told me how things was in the past before COVID. But you were like in the thick of it.
Yeah, I was in the thick of it. And not to sound any type of way, but my daughter's mom was a lot more health conscious than I am. So a lot more
Mm-hmm.
things weighed heavily on her than I would even have thought to fathom, right? And
Mm.
during that time, it was obviously weird, of course. Appointments were kept to a minimum, and there were even times where I couldn't, be in the actual rooms, with her and the doctor while she was getting her checkups, or whatever. But I feel like that was kind of like expected, like whatever
Yeah.
to keep everybody safe, But what I ended up learning is that my daughter's mom had, I'm not gonna forget this. Here we go. Preeclampsia, right? She had
Mm.
preeclampsia, and with the preeclampsia, her blood pressure would raise, like, would get like dangerously high, to where the doctors would
Mm.
have to be like, okay, cool, we definitely have to keep a close eye on you, during your pregnancy, especially with this baby, because it's a possibility that you may, what I'm saying, like have stroke, what I'm saying, like something, may
Yeah.
happen, so what ended up happening is like in December, like she had went for her, her checkup, and it was just like they basically kicked it to her like, "Yo, I know we told you that you was due in January, right? But your blood pressure is raising dramatically, and I feel like right
Whew.
now with where you are, we can deliver the baby, so we are going to induce you. And when she
So y'all
called
went
me,
to an appointment and they told y'all this.
this was one of the ones she went dolo. She went dolly
Oh,
to this appointment. So she called me from the appointment. I think I was still wrapping up some stuff on Zoom for work. And she told me, she was like, yo, they're keeping me. They're saying that my blood pressure keeps raising and they pretty much have to induce me now or within the next 24 hours. So I'm just like, dang. But luckily since we was home, ain't nothing to do but prepare, right? So that
right.
bag that they tell you about that dads have to have ready when that call is made, that was already ready. So,
Okay.
I
Shout out to you,
yeah,
cause you better than
yeah,
me.
man. Man, look, and I appreciate the relationships that I have with mothers, older mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my old bosses, supervisors, co-workers, things like that, that have children, and they got me right. They told me, they was like, yo, you're gonna need XYZ, ABW, 1 2 3, right? So you making sure that what I'm saying, you got the blankets, you got the what I'm saying, the stuff for mom, the snacks, the games, like just things just to make that labor process easier. Because my daughter's
Right.
mom was in labor, it had to have been for like a day and some change. Like we was just in there.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
like you gotta do what you can. Bring the Nintendo Switch out. You know?
Facts.
You gotta get creative.
Facts.
But we made it.
Yeah.
That whole navigating being within those health centers and those medical spaces during the pandemic, yeah, it was definitely, it's not for the weak.
Mm-mm.
At all.
At all. Yeah, and so I can only imagine like having to get that call and you not there. I mean, with 2 kids that I have, I didn't have experience like that. I was constantly thinking that was going to happen. So I was worrying myself every single day. But like, how did you feel when you got that call? But I mean, you also was prepared. So again, shout out to you because someone like me, I was not prepared. My bag wasn't ready neither one time.
I did listen. The bag was in the car because the bag was in the car, but up top
It was
in
already
the
in the
mental
car.
space, I'm scrambling. Like mentally, I'm scrambling. Like, oh my gosh, she's saying that the baby's coming. What do I do? Like what? What am I about to like? What am I about to be in for when I walk in this hospital? Like, what's about to happen?
Right.
But I mean,
Nah, I feel that.
made it happen. We here now.
It's so
Did y'all
crazy.
have any support people at the hospital with y'all? Like I know some people have doulas and stuff like that.
Mm-mm. We didn't have any doulas or
Mm.
anything because they was a the times wasn't that many people able to be in there. They weren't letting a bunch of
Mm.
extra folks in there to support. It was pretty much basically just her and I, and then whatever medical
Mm.
personnel that they had for us, which at that point was like 3 shifts.
Mm.
And I know it was about a day and some change because 3 shifts worth of nurses and doctors came through. That's how I knew. I was like, yo, we in here
Mm.
for a grip. This ain't even the same doctor from when we got
Yeah.
here.
Facts.
Yeah, we had a doula both times, and I think the first time they tried to make it a little a thing, but like a doula is like I guess considered like another doctor in that field, so they kind of exempt a little bit. But I'm pretty sure, like my daughter was born in 2021, so that was different. Obviously, things changed like month after month during COVID. So yeah, they probably wasn't rocking with that December of 2020. I could imagine. At least where we at.
Yeah. I mean, so fast forward and man, like, were there any challenges that you saw, whether it be through what I mean, raising a daughter, still in the midst of COVID, or just what I mean, how old is your daughter now?
She will be 5 in December, so she's 4.
Okay, okay. So yeah, even I mean, challenges up to now. Any like tough challenges that you had to face that really just what I mean, racks your brain on like, how the hell am I going to get through this?
Yeah, I don't want to be any like one of those type of like single fathers, but co-parenting. for sure. Co-parenting, I don't care how you slice it. Co-parenting is going to be a challenge, whether you have a good relationship with your partner or a not so great relationship with your partner, because there's so many key components that go into effectively co-parenting. Right? You got to be able to be on one accord. You're going to have to be able to put emotions aside. You're going to have to be able to communicate. You're going to have to be able to respect each other and your boundaries, you know, and making sure all of that is aligned is stressful, especially for, you know what I'm saying, us dads that care and want to do right by their children. You know, we have to constantly tote that line of, okay, what can I allow? What can I not allow? Like, what do I have to stand on so that boundaries don't get crossed and feelings don't get hurt on either side? And ultimately, so that the child doesn't feel or get wind of whatever is going on, any type of negative energy, you know, yeah, you know, because the child is to stay exempt from all of that.
Facts. Yeah, I
So
mean, I
that's
definitely agree with you there. Because even like I definitely can imagine how the co-parenting aspect would be. Because at that point, y'all not together. So, like you said, being on one accord is a little bit harder. But it's crazy because I was actually just thinking of this myself. Like, I mean, me and my kids' mom, we still together, thank God. But I think it's still that challenge just still comes up when you still with them, like, because like you said, all three of us, we didn't have planned kids. So like we not having these conversations on what we're gonna do about this, like, or how you feel about this. Like, two people have to then come together to raise a person, but two people have different ideologies on certain subjects. So it's a lot of times where heads get butted, or like sometimes, like, for example, like my girl may say, he don't need to be watching TV while he eat. I may feel like, all right, fuck it. Is he gonna sit there and let him eat, and he gonna watch TV, but he gonna eat slow? Fuck it, let it happen. So like, it's certain like small things like that is easily for the two people to butt heads, and I think sometimes that's why we don't really see a lot of two-parent households sometimes, because it's hard to kind of come together on certain things. Because one day I was just thinking, like, why don't we see a lot more of that? But it's not easy. I think the relationship just changes, like, inevitably.
Yeah.
And it's a different kind of change.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now. A lot of our grandparents been together for years. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Decades. You know, and then like we look at some of our parents, you know, like some of them stay together, but some of them separate. You know, I came from a situation where my parents separated when I was at a young age, right? So when they separated, I already was peeping. I was young, but I already peeped that society was made for a two-parent household. You know what I'm saying? I had to immediately figure out, okay, my mom has to work a little bit harder now. You know, things are a little bit different. I don't got, access to as many, luxuries as I had before. Things are tight now. And
Right.
I witnessed that, I experienced that. But, also, with the whole co-parenting thing, I had to witness it. So I've witnessed the good and bad, aspects of co-parenting growing up, and, everything, it takes time, right? It
Yeah.
takes time. And I think in that time, my parents have shown me, especially my dad, has shown me that it is possible to have a good co-parenting relationship, with your partner. Still be present for your kids, still never miss a beat, still have that love and, bond relationship and memories, all that good stuff.
Facts. Yeah, don't ever let the situation or the circumstances, deter how you want to be a parent, for sure. And not speaking to you, because I know you carrying it well, but just for anybody out there that's listening, man, like, that love that you have for your child, shouldn't nothing be able to get in between that, like nothing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Wait.
Time out.
Wait a minute. Before you go any further, we have a message for you guys.
I need y'all guys to smash that like button.
Hit it.
Smash that follow button.
Bam.
smash that subscribe button.
Do it.
Turn them noties on.
I need it.
Why? So just to let people know why this is important.
We really trying to grow this channel, man. We need all of y'all support. Every single viewer from this video, from this episode, smash that like button like Jordan said. It's going to help us grow this channel and reach new heights, reach new audience to help us grow our community like we plan to do with Fatherhood Forward.
Appreciate y'all. Hit that red button.
Let's
Yes,
get
sir.
back to the show.
That could be a challenge though, cause it's like just speaking from like people I know, like experiences, like it's like once that divide happen, it's like sometimes it be people's agenda on either side to like make it the absolute worst for their child's mother or their child's father, and that shit don't make no sense because it's a direct like impact on your child.
Facts.
Like it doesn't make any sense. It's so selfish.
Yep.
And I wish it wasn't like that. I don't know though on another end, because it's like you said, DaRon, our grandparents, it's crazy. My grandparents been married for like 25 years, and I know people's grandparents who were married longer than that, probably sometimes double that.
Yeah.
And my mom divorced when I was in like 5th or 6th grade, but I know that was like one of the most challenging times for me personally, just because I seen how it changed. You know what I'm saying? I seen how my mom started to work more and stuff like that. Do you remember going through stuff like that, or did you feel? I know you saw the change, but did you feel the change?
In certain aspects, I felt the change, because when my parents split, I think I was in 5th grade. When my parents split, I was in 5th grade. I was going to the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was going to the 6th. The most immediate change that I can remember seeing is my education, right? I went to I was in Christina School District, so my feeder was Christina School District because I lived off 40, or whatever case may be. But once my parents separated, my mom needed to then think about saving more money on having her children get education. So she was just like, I'm going to send my children to a charter school in the city so that they can both get the same education at the same place. So that's how we ended up, going from, Christina School District. That's how me and my sister ended up at Thomas Edison, and that,
Right over, good over north.
yeah, right. It's like, but and I'm about to say, you said damn,
Smack
because
dead.
you know,
Smack dead in the great part of the north side.
right in the middle. I'm going from
the greater part of north side.
The greatest part of the north side.
I'm going to a classroom with like 4 black kids to a charter school where we only had 2 white boys. We only had 2 white boys and an Asian girl in my class. That was it.
I'm surprised I had too.
Man.
That vibe was gangster though. They was like, what's that boy?
Absolutely.
What's that belly gang?
Word, the 2 white boys
They was like,
they were twins. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn,
man.
yeah,
same household, so it's like one person for it.
That's like 1.5.
That's crazy.
Word.
Nah, that I know going to Edison built some character though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I feel like my time at Thomas Edison is what made me is why I'm in education right now, basically. My time over there and spending time with them educators and them mentors that look like me, that talk like me, and that understood my situation and my trauma, they are the ones that ultimately inspired me, to go and do the same thing for the kids that are coming up now. So.
Oh, yo, all right. So this is what I meant to ask. So obviously, our grandparents didn't get divorced. Some of our parents got divorced. And I'm pretty sure down the trajectory, like if things hit the fan and we got a divorce, then we got a divorce. But like, is it not better to keep the union together? Because they say marriage is for better, for worse, but then how worse can it get? You know what I'm saying? Before things gotta come to an end.
I
You know
feel
what I'm saying? And we can tiptoe around this joint
No, we
because
can't
I'm married.
around it. You done brought it up,
I
so
know
you gotta
you-
give the real.
facts. You opened the door.
You
you
open the big door, like.
and my views on this is controversial as hell, and it's okay.
Let me
You know
hear
what I'm
it.
saying? And me and my current girl have had these conversations, right? But to your question, you said why can it? It's because what marriage has become, right? Marriage isn't what marriage like to our grandparents. When our grandparents and their parents got married, it wasn't what marriage is today, right? When it comes to marriage, I feel like we can have the strongest union and not have a wedding and not do all of the typical things that women, look for when they think about marriage, right? Because my biggest thing was, in a relationship, oh man, I can't wait to get married. Yeah, I hear you, babe. Oh man, the marriage, the wedding, ooh, the wedding. Yes, I hear you, babe. I hear you. But where I'm at, what's going on after? Like, I want to know what the exciting part, like, what's the caveat of being married aside from the actual ceremony, the glitz, the open bar, all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person of foresight. I got to see it to be able to invest in it. I want to know what after the marriage do I have to be excited about, you know? And that was my biggest thing. I'm like, for all that, we don't need no wedding. We could just go around and tell people that we're married. We can walk around with 2 ring pops on our finger, and like we married. Like, but as long as you and I are under the same, yes, we're married. Ain't nobody gonna question or anything. Nah, they married because they said they married. We wasn't at the wedding
Right.
because there wasn't no wedding. We just said we married. You know,
Yeah.
but
We potting now.
I understand that because I grew up with my mama and I got a sister. I got 2 sisters, and I get it. The fantasy of the wedding to the little girls when they grow up and they think about that fairy tale princessy thing that Disney's gonna push. That's what they want. That's what they fantasize about. That's what their goal is, right? Oh, they're gonna crush me up in the comments. I already know they're gonna crush me up in the comments.
No, I'm gonna save you, bro. Don't worry about it. We good.
You know what I'm
Do your
saying?
thing.
But for a man, right? Or for a boy, growing up, all we know is that all we do is serve that opposite role. All we are is that other piece in that puzzle. You know what I'm saying? We really don't, there's really there's no point to the wedding that really like brings home
It's not
a
a seller.
boy's, yeah, I get to dance. I may get to do the garter dance, with my girl and everything. But, I feel like a lot of men are thinking about what's coming after. And a lot of men are terrified of that after being the negative part of that and it not working out too well and then resulting in a divorce. And that in itself is wild. Like that whole process of a divorce is wild. I believe in Delaware, they don't let you divorce. You got to be married at least another year, or try to work it out for a year or something before they actually go through with a divorce. I believe something weird, but like the
That sound about
process
right.
of getting a divorce is twice as taxing as getting married. You know, and for a guy, even for a man, even if we have just a little bit of peace of doubt that we won't admit to our partner, that's gonna hold us. That's gonna hold us. That's gonna hold us from it, and we could do it, but like we got to make sure that we do it with intention because if it goes bad, the first thing they're gonna say, "Man, I knew I shouldn't have. I knew it. I had a feeling. I knew it was gonna come to this. I'd have spent thousands of dollars." And yeah, so that's every man's fear.
I think you're projecting
I
a
am.
little bit.
I
But
am.
Corey, what you got? I know
I
you got
think
something.
I think what he said had points though. I understood
Yeah,
the
yeah,
points
yeah.
because, like you said, it's the viewpoint before marriage. Like I think it does suck that as men we got to think about the potential of divorce and all that stuff because I think a lot of that backlash then comes on us. Like we failed as a husband, most of the time when the divorces happen, like we gotta pay, you know what I mean, out of pocket, all this stuff, potentially alimony.
Yeah.
So I think that do be in the back of men's mind. But to go back to like what you were originally saying, Jaheed, like what is for better or for worse, me personally, I think a lot of things can be worked out. I think a lot of things can be worked out through mutual conversation, and I mean mutual because it's a two-sided part. It can't just be one person wants it one way and the other one wants another way, and they don't align. They never try to figure out how to get it to come together. I think that's where the disconnect is, and I think that we have to figure that out before we just start sliding little Jimmy in there with no hat on, and then creating these babies in an unbalanced union. I think it just happens too much, like because like how I even going back to what I said, like all three of us we got unplanned children, but the right way to do it, even I'm not saying that it happens, but the right way to do it is to get married first, have those conversations about all right, how do we proceed when this comes up? How do you view this? How do you view that? Because that then eliminates these possibilities of things coming up, because a problem doesn't become a problem until it actually happens. We can't talk about it until it actually happens, but the problem is it already happened and now shit is getting blown up and we wasn't prepared for it. So I think that's where a lot of like things get broken, and then we also got to remember who's at like not at fault, but like who is to feel that brokenness, and it's the kids, man. Like I come from where I didn't have two of my parents. You know what I mean? I grew up with my mom, and my stepdad. Now my stepdad, he'd been there like majority of my life, but I still knew I had a dad out there. So like, yeah, there was effects that carried within me, but you know what I mean. Had my parents did what I'm saying, that could have potentially been alleviated, and they could have moved a little smarter to set me up a little better.
That was okay.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, nah, you're right, Corey. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and you too. You know what I'm saying, Jack? Because I am projecting my trauma. You know, facts. That's my trauma that I'm projecting. I have not witnessed a successful marriage in my immediate, you know what I'm saying, like family. You know, my parents didn't work out. You know what I'm saying?
What about your grandparents?
My so my grandparents, they did get married, right? My grandparents got married, but they weren't together. My grandparents got married when I was a baby. All right, so I was still around. I think I was there at their wedding, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So when they got married, yeah, I was able to see them, but that was pretty much it. That was my only
That was
immediate,
it.
yeah, view. Because even, folks have tried, like as far as my parents have tried like relationships, but never really necessarily found that level of happiness. You know what I'm saying? That, I seen them once upon a time, so like to me, like I know I'm definitely very much capable of, following that process, right? Following that timeline. I feel like, right now, I feel like with my daughter, like you said, that was one of those. All right, cool. I'm taking accountability for what happened because I was part of this. I knew what was going on. I was trying to have my cake and eat it too, if you would, right? I don't want to be pandemic by myself. Why can't I be locked in with my partner at the time? Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna make it all the way, but I mean, hey, I got somebody, and that's how I was thinking, at that time, you know. And then with that, things happen, and now my daughter is here. So, like with that, I've always had to take everything I did in stride because, yep, I laid my daughter's mom. We made this baby, but I'm about to be the best dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to still take this in
Facts.
stride. Or I'm about to be the best dad because I wasn't prepared. I'm gonna go even harder because I wasn't prepared.
Well, I meant to say this while we was on the topic, and we can move on. And I talk to Corey and Jordan about this all the time, but Jordan's already married, so he understands. But the way it was explained to me is, bro, I'm not gonna say like the man gets nothing out of the marriage, right? But the marriage is a covenant, right? The marriage is a covenant between you and your wife, but not only you and your wife, but you, wife, and God. God keeps y'all together, right? God is the glue. When things get rough, when things are really good, you give God the glory, the grace. When y'all backs are against the wall, and y'all have this one thing in common, this is the glue that keeps y'all together. So they say God honors marriage, right? So you being a married man, obviously it doesn't change anything grand scheme of things of how it feels, right? But even when you think about like when you like God forbid anything happen, you transition before you planned on it, and nobody really plans on it, of course. If you and your woman are married, then it's no questions asked what happens to your daughter or what happens to my son, my daughter, or what, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
it's no questions
taken
asked
care of. Yep.
because when y'all not legally together, then that's when other forces can come in and make and impede on what y'all got going on. That's
Like that.
honestly, bro, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But it does feel great calling a woman that I took the time to grow together with. We raising children and living, walking through life together. And you can do that without being married. You can literally do that.
For sure.
You can practice everything I'm saying without being married. So I've never
sure.
pushed marriage on nobody. I never even thought I was going to be married, bro. That's the crazy part. Me and my wife was on the same time, like, yo, what's the point of the paper? But the biggest thing is, God forbid I check, she check. We don't want nothing. We don't want nobody to get in the way of, you know what I'm saying? That's really the biggest thing. And we could talk about that if y'all wanted to. If not, we can move on.
Oh yeah, I'm about to jump on. Look, you said something. You said a word there, brother. You know, because I think that
Yeah.
honestly, because like I said, I have these conversations with my current girlfriend, right? You know, because we've
Mm-hmm.
been together for some years now. We've been together for like 3 years now, and she has two girls of her own. You know, twin girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? So these are and she has been married before. You know, so these are conversations that we have. So she speaks to it on a sense of, okay, I get what you're saying because you've never been married. The most I've ever been is
Right.
engaged before, and that was off of
Mm-hmm.
pressure. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know when she's kicking it to me like she's
Like you
been
felt pressure to do it.
to do it, yeah, yeah, I felt pressure to
Mm.
propose because people outside of me made me feel like because I was, in this relationship for so long, I had no
Just
that
go
was it.
ahead.
Like that was it. You may as well,
Mm.
right? So that, and then after I proposed, that's when all of the problems started. You know, that's when all of the problems started. So automatically, I
Damn.
came into the relationship that I'm in jaded about the concept of marriage, right? But it was my girlfriend giving me the insight. She kicked it to me the same way. She was just like, God forbid something happens to us, with our health, or something happens legally. I have a business, that
Mm-hmm.
I run, that I run, and like God forbid something happens, or let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you're in these big meetings with these people, and you're just like, all right, cool. My wife and we handle the business on X, Y, and Z. These business partners are automatically going to think that you are reliable because you can contractually
You
hold
have a
down
relationship.
your marriage. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they can
Mm-hmm.
trust you to be able to
That's a good
do
one.
business with them. So, yes, definitely with it being kicked like that, I definitely am agreeing wholeheartedly that I think that, marriage kind of like unlocks another level of like your life
Yeah.
and how you progress. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Mm-hmm.
level up once you get married, and now I'm one of them people who's just like, I want to be in the mix with my bros and we show off our rings. Like that wasn't me 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have those
Right.
aspirations. But again, it's the partner that you have. You know, the right
Yep.
partner could, you know what I'm saying, like,
It's
make
gonna bring
all of
that
these
out of you.
things. Yeah, it's gonna bring it out of you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yeah, I've been through some things. I've witnessed some things growing up that I didn't think affected me until now
Mm-hmm.
I'm an adult and I'm, faced with these decisions. And I'm just like, why do I keep doing these things the wrong way? And it's because I'm fighting the right way because, you know what I'm saying, my traumas, my past traumas, and all of the hurt and
Mm.
stuff that I've been through before, it won't let me. You know what I'm saying? It won't let me be in a
Mm.
space where I'm just like, I can be with a person that I can trust is loyal to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Hmm.
have to
Right.
think that, I don't have to worry or I don't have to, you know, do the whole location phone check. I don't know if y'all ever checked the phone, but that the worst possible thing
Worst thing you could do.
is check
Don't
your
check the
girl
phone, bro.
phone. It only took me
You
one
out there
time.
watching, bro? Don't check the phone, bro.
Facts. If y'all watching on the
Don't do
TV,
it,
all
bro.
it's gonna do is take you one time to check the phone for you never to do that shit again.
And you gonna
I
do it again.
promise.
You gonna do it
You'll
again.
never do it again.
Woo,
Mm-mm.
man. But
Mm-mm.
word, it's like that level of security. Like once you're in a relationship and you're like 100% secure, then that's when you could, start to think about these certain possibilities and stuff, for elevating your life, your relationship, your family, all of that.
Mm. Mm. All right. So before we move on, because damn, we kind of came up on time fast. What y'all time say? 50 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I did want to ask you, DaRon. So your girlfriend has two twins, like you said, and you have a 5-year-old daughter. How is that? How has it been like bringing everyone together? Like, they all girls, so I would think it's like it was. I'm not gonna say easy because I'm not there, but you would think it would be a little bit easier, right?
Well, so what makes it easier is the fact that they're so close in age. They're only like a year apart. You know, my
Okay.
daughter's 4, her daughters are 5. So when I brought my daughter around, she was like a baby. You know, she was still
Mm.
real little. So the girls she's always been the baby to the girls because they're twins.
Mm,
So they've had each other their whole life. And
right.
now
Mm.
my daughter comes into the mix and she's like the new baby in the mix. So like it's exciting for them. Like they look out for each other. I'm big on family. Like I said, like I came from my mom's family was big. My dad's family was ginormous. You know what I'm saying? So I was
Mm-hmm.
big. My dad preached family. So when that love is there, those are your sisters. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell my daughter. Those are your sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the twins, that's your little sister. You got to look out for her. You got to take care of her. You know what I'm saying? So now that's like they're young enough to where you know, I'm confident they're gonna be in each other's lives for the rest of their lives, and for as long as they
Mm-hmm.
would have remembered, that would have been their little sister. Now, granted, they're all little girls, so there are times where I'm just like, Lord, like I just need to take some trash out. Let me do something. I gotta walk outside. I can get a breath, a break, or something. But
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, ultimately, I love it. I feel like the kind of dad that I am, because I'm the type of dad I get in the mix. I'm wild and
Yeah, I was
crazy.
about to say I seen you at the park.
I got
Yeah.
to. If I don't, all three of them is gonna
Yeah.
just it's a wrap for me. So I gotta be overly energetic, overly excited. Like I have to be fun. You know, I feel like my daughter needs that because primary time she's with her mom. And I feel like my
Mm,
girlfriend's girls need that because they don't see their dad that much. You know what I'm saying? So especially when I get all the girls together, what? Absolutely. We create memories. We having a good time. If there's any problems, we're gonna talk
mm-hmm.
about the problems. We're gonna address it because everybody has big feelings at 5 and 6. We're gonna talk about
Facts.
it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, and I work in behavior health and spec ed. So I don't, Like I know certain signs, I know certain, things, I know certain techniques, I know certain like things that kids do, and yeah, we just work it. We just address the behaviors, we reinforce positive behaviors. We don't necessarily punish bad behaviors, but we use those as learning moments, teachable moments, if you will. And I feel like that is the perfect neutral balance for everybody. It's not too much, I'm not being too much. They both have mothers to fill in, that woman, girl, aspect of life and learning. But when it comes to the love, when it comes to the support, when it comes from holding stuff down and making sure stuff gets done, dad's going to do it for all of them. For all of them.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. So since the girls is already taken care of, they cool, they got each other. You gonna try for your boy, right?
I'm scared.
If you was doing that, bro, you had to do it OD soon.
Bro, that's a 50-50 dice roll. That's a 50-50 dice roll. And if I have 4 girls and a wife, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's over for me. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that would be very fun, but almost too much fun.
Don't let you get twins.
But God, no, because I'm not having another kid.
Yeah, because they already got twins. She already got twins.
Word, I heard what Corey said. I heard what Corey said. I'm not having another baby before I get married. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they talk about in church. That's what they say in church. You get married.
Facts.
Before
God.
God.
A good book.
Then you have a kid, flourish, family, revelations. Yep.
Yes, sir.
I feel like that's how I'm doing.
Whose parents actually did it like that?
Not me. I'm a bastard.
So am I. In that regard.
My parents got married. Thanks. My parents got married. Yeah, my parents got married.
No. Was they married before you got here?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. My parents.
We should start a poll. We should put a poll just to see the statistics on that.
At this stage, right? Like, how many of you actually were born unbastards?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Like the results may shock you.
It might.
Not really. Well, I guess so. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
Well, both of y'all just told me
I think demographic.
Yeah,
I think demographic matters though.
That's also true.
Yeah, that's a fact. But we come from the demographic where it's a little less likely.
Yeah.
That's why what y'all are doing is so important.
Facts.
For our community.
Facts. Because even in our demographic, we don't even see this. Hear these conversations. And we should be normalizing, these conversations. Because that's how we grow.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. For sure.
So, DaRon, do you have, any advice for a father maybe going through or transitioning to a co-parenting situation? Yeah. What advice could you offer to those?
Okay. Serious DaRon is going to say, make sure that you communicate with your partner, with your co-parent. Mm-hmm. Like even if you feel like they don't deserve the smallest amount of communication, just communicate, because at the end of the day, the only person that is going to be at a deficit or is going to ultimately be at a loss is the child. If mom and dad aren't together and mom and dad beefing, and your child got to go to mom's house and hear about how bad dad is, and then go to dad's house to hear about how bad mom is, that is not a healthy environment for that child to grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Communicate with your co-parent and keep whatever drama, like if there is drama, just keep that between you and your co-parent. Don't involve your current partner. Don't involve your parents. Don't involve their parents. Yes, keep it between you and your co-parent. I promise you, it would be so much simpler that way. Without everybody else's input into the mix, even your partner. And I know at times, people guys are gonna be listening to this, be like, yeah, man, I tell my current girl everything. She knows she crazy, but regardless, because what that's gonna do is that's gonna impede on y'all peace, that y'all got in your own household. Because after a while, your partner gonna get tired of hearing about how crazy your baby mom is.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So this week, this upcoming week is gonna be Father's Day. So before we get out of here, I want to ask DaRon a 2-part question. But obviously, what do y'all want for Father's Day? And then we kind of grazed over it, but like, how important is fatherhood? This platform, Fatherhood Forward, for the community, the dad community, the parenting community today.
Man, for Father's Day, man, all I wanted was to just be with my child or children in that instance, and I just want to I want to relax. I don't want to do too much, you know what I'm saying? But I want to relax and have a good time and chill, possibly grill out, for Father's Day,
That's right.
be able to grill. And then the second part question about how important this type of platform is for fathers. The work that you guys are doing is important to our community, especially here, for fathers like all of us to see and hear our stories, so that we know that like there's no roadmap, there's no cheat codes, you know what I'm saying, there's no guide, no user manual into being a good dad, you know what I'm saying. We show up, you know what I'm saying? We're present for our children. We listen to them. We love them. We continue to just show up. And I feel like hearing that from other fathers, especially in our community, in our small community here, you know what I'm saying, it's important, because, there's going to be a lot of soon-to-be fathers, a lot of, fathers who are preparing for fatherhood, a lot of fathers who have been fathers, but they're trying to, figure out where they may have went wrong. And I feel like these stories and these opportunities and these moments that you guys are creating is important for us to witness, so that we know, like, where to start, where it starts, and how we can continue to make this thing great for our children and our communities.
Facts.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. For sure. I definitely appreciate it. Corey, which one for Father's Day?
I just want to relax, bro. My kids don't even gotta be here. I just want to relax. I see y'all enough. So yeah, I just want to chill out, bro. Maybe some clogged Birkenstocks, if Stephanie's listening. But
real dad vibes. The clogged Birkenstocks for the Blackstone vibes.
Facts. Yeah, I got the open toe ones. Now I just need the clogged ones just to complete.
There you go.
All right. I don't really want nothing. I did say I wanted some cologne.
Okay.
But my cologne be costing too much, so I don't be.
It do cost a couple dollars.
But honestly, I want to get my feet done. I was looking at my toes, man. I got my toes up right now. Oh shit!
I'm glad you said that.
A little edging.
I'm glad you said that. Let's talk about it. Nah, JK. Let's talk about it. Let's normalize men getting taking care of their feet.
Yeah.
No, for sure, bro. I work on my hands. I work on my feet, and I use my hands. So like, shit, I can write that kind of stuff off. It's not a big deal. Yeah, you should normalize that though. Take care of them things, man.
Yep.
Yo, we got to get out of here though. Thank you for your time, DaRon. I appreciate you, good brother.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and we gonna yes, and we gonna continue to stay tapped in. This was another great episode of Dad Stories. Chala.
Catch y'all on the next one.
All right, peace.